like to invite our first team for the afternoon session from ChemEd Business School to come on stage and present their idea. Please welcome G Energy. Thank you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good afternoon, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. We are Genergy. So our team consists of 3 members. My name is Vidyatida, Sinbo, and Sukiang. We are the co-founder of Genergy. But what is Genergy? Genergy is a business that provides cooling services for household, building, factories, and heating services for greenhouse farming and poultry farm using geothermal heat pump. We are the future alternative to air conditioning. But what exactly is a geothermal heat pump? Geothermal heat pump is a central heating or cooling system that taps into the ground temperature to circulate the airs around the house or buildings. And how does it operate? So a geothermal system transfers heat by pumping water through the pipes just below the Earth's surface where there's a constant temperature from 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. The water or refrigerants will then absorb the cool from the Earth, and the pumps will bring this cool to the houses or buildings above through the 2 fan coils. And just like any conventional air conditioners, this geothermal system can be controlled using a remote control, and the temperature is between 15 to 55 degrees Celsius. And it only takes 7 to 10 days to install this kind of system in your house. But why does Genergy come into existence? We've received this kind of notice, and we've actually experienced an electricity blackout, which is a most frustrating experience for most of us. And this can be traced back to 2019, where most areas in Phnom Penh had to endure hours of power cut. And this was a consequence of electricity overconsumption. This pie chart from Cambodia UNDP indicates that air conditioner accounts for 12% of the total household electricity expenditures. However, geothermal heat pump can reuse 80% of the total amount. So if we install geothermal heat pump in your house, the 12% will be reduced to only 2.4%. And according to the Electricity Authority of Cambodia, approximately 32% of our electricity is imported. However, as previously mentioned, geothermal heat pump consume only 20% of the total amount. So we can save 10% of the portion, so we only need to import another 20% more from our neighboring countries. Moreover, according to the National Geographic, climate change has been accelerating since the first industrial revolutions, and because of human activity, which continue to add heat-trapping greenhouse gases into our atmospheres, and our planet is getting warmer and warmer each year. And for example, if we see this table, if we compare the amount of carbon dioxide emissions of an air conditioner to a geothermal heat pump, we can see an immense difference. So a normal air conditioner releases 71.2 million tons of carbon dioxide annually, while geothermal heat pump only releases 20% of that amount, which is 14.24 million tons of carbon dioxide. And due to the greenhouse effects, our demand for cooling might show up, and there will be a greater demand for our electricity, and in the future, our electricity price is subject to change. So welcome to Genergy. In response to the issues that have been mentioned earlier, Genergy is committed to tackle the problem of climate change, solve the problem of electricity overconsumption, and we can help you save your electricity bills. Now let's move on to our first model business canvas.
Here is our first business model canvas. After reaching out to many people and business, unfortunately, we were turned down by Beret Phnom Penh Thmai, Shanghai Sangling M&E, which is the supplier from China. And some of the poultry farms were closed due to COVID-19. However, our idea was approved by Beret Orchidea, who agreed to be our strategic partner. Moreover, we have our main supplier, Guangdong Center OSB heat pump, who will supply the machine and conduct the training for ourselves. For local supplier, we have Khmer A202, who will supply the fan coils, and HDPE pipe company, who will supply the pipe. Besides this, we have conducted a survey to gather more perspective from our customer. We found that 65% of them have used the air conditioner about 8 to 10 hours per day. In that, 70% of them think that their electricity bill was too expensive. In addition, we have asked about the price that they are willing to pay for our service and product. The result is 82% would pay for $6,000 and 18% would pay for $6,000 up to $8,000. For our challenge is that our business is brand new in Cambodia, so people have limited knowledge about geothermal heat pumps. It's hard to find the information or conduct any research related to the topic, and also the reason why we lack some of technical information. After realizing our challenge and what we lack of, we have consulted with many experts to overcome these obstacles. At first, we met with Mr. Tony Yu, the representative of Beret Orchidea, who had consulted us about marketing strategy. Then we have consulted with Mr. Tilsa Piret, Deputy General of the Ministry of Environment. For the information on energy, we have consulted with His Excellency Bonimol, His Excellency Tusawana, and Mr. Watakabe. Besides this, we have discussed with Sathapana Bank, with Ms. Nako and Mr. Udom, to see whether if we can provide installment loan for our customer. Since Sathapana Bank does not provide the kind of loan, so we're planning to provide it by ourselves. And here is our second canvas. In this, we have made some adjustment to our key partner, since we received the agreement from MEP team to be our construction team, and also we received bad news from Chip Mongland that they can fulfill our request after we have approached them. As for Beret Peng Huot, Beret Bipop Thmai, Khmer Beret, Cambodia Beret, and CP, we're still waiting for their response. And here is our final canvas. We have made adjustment progressively due to the events, and we get the final one. Here is our key partner. For our key activity, we will provide full services, after-sales service, retain current customer base. And our customer segment, we targeted to environmentalists, people who are concerned about their health, and people who want to reduce their electricity costs. So now let's move on to our startup cost.
About the startup cost, if it includes all of this, we need around $9,050 in order to run this business. These are our machines. The price starts from $3,600 to $7,500 with heating and cooling capacity from 9.5 to 50 kilowatt. As for installation cost, the price starts from $2,400 to $7,500. Genergy has 4 sets, and each set contains all of these components. Set 1 is $6,000 for a house with 5 rooms, and set 4 is $15,000 for more than 1 house or up to 20 rooms. If you spend $3,000 to install air conditioners in 5 rooms, this price only covers the cost of air conditioner. However, if you choose Genergy, you will benefit a lot more. Suppose you choose our set 1 for the same number of rooms. This price already covers all the installation costs, fan coils, and other equipment that are needed. Presuming you turn on 5 air conditioners for 10 hours a day, your electricity expense would be $270 per month. Yet with Genergy, you only need to spend $54 a month. And in the next 10 years, you could save up to $25,920 on your electricity bill. Assuming you buy our set 1, which is equivalent to 5 air conditioners for $6,000, it only takes 1 to 2 years to get the money back. Our services, we provide 2 years warranty, free maintenance for the first year, Free consultation with our team regarding extra service we plan to provide installment for our customers. Our net profit would be $1,000 if the revenue is $6,000. Why energy? It is a renewable energy because it produces 75% to 80% fewer greenhouse emissions. It consumes less electricity and has reduced electricity expenses by approximately 80%. It lasts at least 25 years or more. It increases comfort by improving the indoor air quality. Moreover, it is flexible because when there's a power cut, an instant power supply can power a geothermal heat pump for 2 hours or more since it consumes only 2.3 kilowatts of energy per hour. Our vision is to establish an eco-friendly environment in Cambodia to create a comfortable working environment for factory sectors and to emerge as the biggest geothermal heat pump provider in Cambodia. Here are our social media accounts, and this is our website. You can check it out and scan the QR code here to see more about Genergy and our team. And that brings us to the end. I would like to thank you for your time and attention today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Sure, I'll start this. So this is actually very interesting, very new to me. Was not aware of this. So my first question would be, do you need, when you do the installation, it's all underground, correct? And so how do you, were you able to survey certain homes or certain areas to where, or how much space do you need to put all of these devices underground? And have you been able to test it or validate it at one house? Has this been proven yet? The second question that I have would be, are there other people doing this type of business? What is the barrier to, basically if somebody else have this, just look at this and they go to these partners and then do the installation, how is that preventing you, or how do you control that market?
Thank you for your question. Regarding to the space, there are two types that we can install. If our customer has less space, then we would recommend them to install the vertical one, which means that we have to dig a little bit deeper into the ground. As for our customer who prefer to use the horizontal one, that they do not want to drill their ground, they can use the horizontal one, which they just need to dig a little deep into the ground. So that really depends on our customer preference, whether they want to save their space or they want to use up their space to install this kind of system. As for the second questions, if there is a competitors who want to copy our idea, I think they cannot do that, because since geothermal heat pump is a new invention, I believe that our team has already have the first mover advantage. We have already discussed with the Ministry of Commerce regarding our business registration and how to obtain the trademark. And we also think that since this has not been introduced, we have the first mover advantage, which will therefore enables us to build a stronger brand image, as well as to obtain the customer loyalty.
Okay, so but this is the first to market in Cambodia, but it's not first to market outside of Cambodia, correct?
Yes.
This idea has been introduced somewhere else before.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So how would you trademark that then if the technology is not something that you develop or design yourself, it's just the process and the implementation? How would you trademark the implementation process? I don't think that's possible, and because the technology is from somewhere else.
As for the trademark, we only want to trade the brand of the equipment. And as for the technology, we have already talked to our supplier, and they said that they will send their experts to train our staff. Yes. So.
So I guess around that question, how do you exactly plan to build the expertise? Because this is very, very, how do I say, niche. That's one question. Second is, how do you plan to achieve a scale? Because obviously you need a lot of capital expenditure to purchase the equipment and so on. And like, how would you then establish that cash flow and that sort of what is needed in order to then build up your business?
Sorry, can you clarify the first question again? We didn't quite catch up.
How do you plan to establish the expertise in order to sort of develop and consult and sell this technology, since it's very niche? I think there's also an aspect to consider around maintenance.
Miss, so thank you for your question. Regarding to the technical knowledge, that's why I'm saying that we're talking to our suppliers to come and train our staff here in Cambodia. It might take long, but I think with a proper training, I think our team might be able to do it. But as for now, due to the current pandemic, it's kind of difficult to send their staff here. So we have to delay until further notice. Does that answer to your question?
Thank you for your presentation. I think it's part of the previous, from that gentleman's question. You told us two types of kind of installment, right? Installation, horizontal, and vertical maybe, I don't know, yeah, how
Yes.
you dig the ground. I am not sure if the question happened during your survey for the existing houses or for other residents. Are they willing to dig the grounds, for example? Yeah, because you did survey with the owners of Borei, etc. So many, but for the house owners.
Regarding to whether our customers are willing to dig their ground or not, it depends. That's why we're contacting the Borei. So we plan to implement this kind of system in the new one, with the one that has not yet been built the house. So once they build the house, they can insert the system under the ground. But for existing house, I think it's also possible, but it's a little bit difficult because they have to consult with the authority or the Borei, because we cannot just do anything without asking for consent first. Yes.
Can you go back to the Canvas, the business model Canvas, the one that you have, the latest one? So I want to talk a bit about the customer segment. So it seems like from the first assumption to the latest one that you've got, so you're targeting people who wants to reduce electricity costs, but you are planning to work with Borei, right? From your presentation, you talked to a lot of Borei. So I just want to know, why did you start your assumption with Borei? Why not, other constant spender like hospitals, even venues? Because I think those are the place that spend more constantly on electricity and AC and all that. What makes you go to Borei first as your first assumption?
Thank you for your question. Um, our team approached the Borai first because we think that Borai always has new project, and I think that customers might want to have something that is new, has not been introduced before, so that could also add more value to the Borai. If I know some Borai, the differences is the design. So if one Borai implemented this kind of system, that's gonna add more value to their project as well. Thank you.
Okay, so it seems like you're selling this to Borai, but the customer who lives in Borai is the user of this technology, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, to that point, I mean, have you kind of, I guess, trying to figure out, has there been validation in terms of people actually wanting this product itself? Like to the gentleman's point, I mean, if you look at clubs, restaurants, and all these, might be a much easier sell because they're more individual, and then at least pilot that out in the beginning and validate if this particular product, you know, can be used. I mean, have you looked at that other market segments or other customers outside of just the Borai itself saying that, oh yeah, we like it, we may be interested in it? And the other part is like, how do you prevent these big guys to look at your idea and then just say, I'm going to do it myself and implement it and not even having to use your service?
Thank you for your question once again. The reason why we focus more on the Borai is that it is, as for now, we only try to sell this kind of product to households, but our financial estimation, we plan to expand our geothermal heat pump provider into a more bigger market segments like factories, malls, and even restaurants, as you have mentioned earlier. So as for now, we only want to sell this to the household and market. Thank you.
Thank you, G Energy, for your wonderful presentation. Next, I would like to invite our second team for this afternoon session from Liger Leadership Academy. Please welcome Siphat to the stage. Thank you. judges ready? You guys can start your presentation now.
Good afternoon, judges and guests. We are students from the Liger Leadership Academy. Our business idea is called Salapa, and we bring varieties of art lessons virtually to Cambodian. The beginning of our journey was difficult. Now let us walk you through our stories.
As concerned citizens, we observed that Khmer art is dying. We thought one of the reasons is students are interested in learning Khmer art, but they are having a hard time finding Khmer art teachers. On the other hand, we also think that teachers are not having enough students.
So we decided to send out our survey question to high school students living all around Cambodia back in October. The survey question were mainly focusing on Khmer dance only. And the question is, how is it finding Khmer dance teachers? Out of 64 responses, 76.6% of the students agree that searching for art teachers is difficult.
After the Khmer dance survey, we decided to cover all forms of Khmer art. As a result, we thought of a good idea, which is to create an application where Khmer art teachers can post portfolio and resumes. Excuse me. As a good result, we thought of a good idea, which is to create an application where Khmer art teachers could post portfolio and resume into a profile and students can conveniently search them up. Also, it contains side features like histories and social events, which could help a lot as a path to promote Khmer art.
This is our initial business canvas. After the first ideation part, we started to come up with our first assumption, which is students are having difficulty finding Khmer art teachers.
To see if our first assumption is right, we have sent out our survey question to high school students. Since it is a COVID pandemic, we did it through social media, and we sent out to different Facebook groups that are related to Khmer arts. And in total, out of 51 responses, 32 people said that yes, it is hard to find Khmer art teachers.
After the validation process, turned out that our first assumption is true, since most students are willing to learn varieties of Khmer art skill, but most of them are having difficulty finding a teacher to teach.
To make sure both of our customers will be active for our application, this is our second assumption. Khmer art teachers are having problem finding job, students, and customers.
We did interview several art teachers, including these teachers, to confirm if our second assumption is right.
After the validation process, we learned that the Khmer art teachers are having enough job in the art field and they don't have the time and ability to host more additional classes.
This is where our first pivot started. Since our second assumption wasn't the way we expected, it turned out that Khmer art teachers don't have problem finding students, since nowadays Facebook and social media is a big place for them. Based on the data we collected before, it also proved that students are also interested in modern art as well. Out of 51 response, 46 students said that they are also interested in modern art. So we changed one of our target audience from Khmer traditional art teachers to modern art teachers.
And here is our business canvas after the first pivot. Here is our third assumption. We think that the modern art teachers are having more time to teach students since they are more independent and not occupied with a full-time job.
We spoke to several artists who mostly do contemporary art, including these two.
Just like Khmer art teachers, after we survey the modern art teachers, we know that they are very busy and occupied with their full-time job and they don't have any time for part-time class.
Through the interview response, we learn a new potential value proposition for the artists, which help their artworks to gain more recognition.
This is where the exciting part starts. After the validation process, we had response that had us pivot our whole business idea from an applications that connect Khmer art teachers with students to an application where Cambodia artists could post art tutorial visually such as drawing, painting, music and instrument lessons, and also the artists and learner could share their artwork into our applications.
This is our first business canvas after the second pivot. After we made these changes, we conducted another survey to see if the tutorial creator have time and ability to create a tutorial for learner, and if we questioned if the artists want a separate sharing artwork platform, and if the students are willing to pay for the virtual tutorial lessons.
We post a poll onto Facebook groups that are related to drawing, painting, music, and instrument to see if the artists are having the time to create the tutorial. And in total, 34 artists were interested in our idea.
We also want to know if the artists would like a sharing platform. And in total, 49 artists said yes, they would like a sharing platform because first, they want more recognitions, but also second, it's the love of sharing the artwork. And three, they want to raise awareness, but also to motivate others.
This is our last survey, our last confirmation to see if the students are willing to pay for the virtual tutorial lessons. And 37 people are willing to pay for the lessons.
After we did those validations, we learned that the artists are having the time to create the tutorial, and they would love to share the knowledge of art. On the other hand, the artists also want a separate platform where there is a community of sharing artworks. And last but not least, the students are willing to learn and pay for the virtual tutorial.
In conclusion, this is our final solution compared to the very initial idea. After we got out of the building during the validation process, the system didn't turn out as the way we expected, since both traditionals and modern art teachers are having full-time job in the art field. So, we still developed it into a model that could still lessen pain to both of our customers. We gave the student what they wanted, which is the access to art tutorial. We gave the artists what they asked for, which is a place where they could create a profile, post their artwork, and create a better marketplace for them.
This is our final value proposition. For our final value propositions, creator can earn salary by creating a tutorial video and post it to our app platform. Our app is very wide since students can learn different variety of art such as painting, drawing, music, and instrument, both traditional and contemporary. Our app is very convenient. We hope it's affordable with good quality. And we also help to promote artists with their work, which help them with more exposure.
For customer segment, we change from Khmer traditional art teachers and modern art teachers to mainly focusing on Cambodian artists. And we use the word creator because any Cambodian artist can create the tutorial. Perhaps not just students, we added learners since it is available for any Cambodian who want to learn art skill.
For revenue stream, we decide to earn our money from promoting ads that based on art, but also earning of 5% when people buy the video tutorial.
This is the prototype of how our app gonna look like. First, we have the home section where the artists could post their artworks, and then we have a tutorial section where the student could find the tutorial that they would like to learn more, and then they can buy it. After they buy it and download it, it will store in a section called library. And this is how the users and artist profile look like. And we also add a section where the learners could submit what they want to learn more to the artist, and that also can help the artist as well.
This is our final business canvas. Celopat is an app that helps Cambodians to learn, share, and a form of inspiration.
We bring varieties of art lessons virtually to Cambodian.
Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you for the presentation. Let me start with the first questions. From my personal experience, creative artists like this, as much concern they are on, spreading their work and get well known about it, their main concern is that their work is being copied, without copyrights. If we go virtual like this, right? So the originalities are not being respected anymore, right? So during your conversation with those artists that you've been doing with your survey, have they expressed such concern? And if yes, then what is your solution to ensure that the originality is still there, the copyright is there, their work would not be copied and printed on T-shirt and selling it somewhere else without their acknowledgement?
First, when we interview with the artists, they haven't expressed the concern like you mentioned how it being copied, but they expressed the concern that they want more recognitions because posting it to like Instagram and Facebook, and as a Cambodian artist, it really had to go viral, and that's what they expressed the concern. And on the other side, talking about tutorial, if it get leaked, so he will continue.
And also, the tutorial should not be downloadable, and it can be downloaded to the app, and it will store in a section called library, and it cannot be screen recorded, and if so, it will go black screen.
In terms of your business model, so you started out originally trying to link art students to art teachers, right? And then you found that the teachers didn't have the time, they were fully employed, including the international foreign teachers. So you end up linking art students with artists, right? But the idea is those artists will still be teachers because they're having to produce tutorials. So did you explore with those art teachers, those artists, whether they're able to do tutorials? Because I mean, being an artist is one thing, being a teacher is something completely different. And you'll find that there are many art teachers who are not good artists, right? But they're good at teaching art. So in your business model, did you explore with your artists their ability to actually make tutorials? I mean, who's going to make those tutorials?
First, it's the artists themselves who agrees that they have the time to create the tutorials, and what distinguishes us from the virtual tutorial and learning in the classes is that excuse me, we're finding the slide for you.
So what distinguishes us from learning classes is that the artist could film the tutorial, and it can be used to teach students again and again.
So it's like, example, if you host classes, it happens every day in the week or like once a week, but it takes a lot of effort. But if you film a tutorial, that's one go, and you edit it one, you post it there, and students can look at it again and again, and it's just one go, so you don't have to film it several times. If like it's a skill, you post, and then it saves more time than doing classes.
So the students able to see a preview of the tutorial so they can see what they're getting for their money?
No. This is just the slide we stopped in. We couldn't find the slide to answer your question, but this is the slide. We're sorry for the inconvenience.
So in a platform type business or solution, it's a chicken and an egg thing, meaning that you get the users and you get the creators, right? So in your particular platform, you have to start fresh. Where in Facebook, for example, or Instagram, you have 1 billion users already. You post something on Facebook, And one of your value proposition for the artists is that they want to be recognized for their work. So how would you attract people to come to your platform or get the artists to use your platform versus where if they post on Facebook and Instagram, they'll get recognized right away by millions of people?
So what distinguishes us from our competitors? So we have, you mentioned like Facebook and Instagram, and what different from us is them. We focus on empowering Cambodian learners, and for that, in the app, it's all ad. But like Instagram and Facebook, it could be varieties of many things, and then Cambodia artists and the learner have a hard time finding the things they want to be. Like for the student, they have a hard time finding the tutorials about artwork. So in our app, it helps Cambodian learner to find it easier.
But wouldn't it just be as easy as going to YouTube and search Khmer artist tutorial versus coming here? I mean, how would you distinguish that?
We did a research through that, and we picked YouTube. And when we searched, there aren't many good quality tutorials that could teach Cambodian learners. So what distinguishes us is that it saves time for Cambodian learner, but also the artists. If they post into YouTube, it takes long process until they get the monetization part and earn money. But for our applications, it saves the time and the functions run a lot faster. Thank you.
So what will be your revenue stream?
I'm so sorry. So our revenue stream is we advertise ads that based on ad, but also earning of 5% when people buy the video tutorial. And why 5%?
5% because 5% is the lowest commissions on our competitor app, which is Patreon.
So come to my question. I just want to clarify that the same process, because your business canvas, you upgrade your business canvas from time to time according to your survey, and the number of sample size is too small. This is how you define the way that you modify your business model. If you enlarge your business, your sample size, you might come up with different models. So how can you identify that?
So thank you for that questions. For the artist part, we interview around 30 artists, and in one artist, they could have so many skills that could post into the app. So that make up a lot of contents. And for the students number that interview willing to pay, it's not based on the number, but based on the diversity. We do a type of sample data that we send to a round of different provinces to high school students. And in high school students, they can represent others that because they have the time, and they also, many of them are loving the art. Like they have interest in art.
So your customer is not only the high school student. I guess you have variety of the customer, including the university student or maybe the adult that they want to earn more, skill on the art. So maybe not only on the high school student.
Yeah, we interview not only high school students, but because high school students make up the most since they are interested. But we also post poll to like Facebook groups and older people, and it shows a lot too that they have interest in learning new art skill. Thank you.
Why at the start did you decide the problem was that people could not access teachers as opposed to that people were not interested? Because I think maybe one aspect of the problem might also be that less people are interested in learning Khmer art these days, which might then affect your business model.
Can you repeat that again?
So the question is, why did you decide the problem was that people were having difficulty to access teachers as opposed to the problem being that less people were interested in Khmer art compared to before?
So, well, based on the survey, we have seen that there's a lot of people who are interested in Khmer art, but they also mentioned that they are having a hard time finding art teachers. That's why we're trying to solve that problem by our solution.
So the big part is that they want to learn art skills. But the first solution that we found is that, connecting them with the teacher. So that is a path to help them to learn. But then throughout the validation process, the teacher didn't have time. So we come up with this new idea that make tutorial for them. And then when we put out another survey, they also want to learn it in tutorial way as long as we provide art tutorials. So it shows that they are interested a lot in learning arts. And thank you. We're really sorry for the inconvenient process of the slide, but we hope our presentation.
You guys did a very good job, guys. Don't worry about it. So thank you again, Salapa, for your wonderful presentation, guys. Next up on our agenda, I would like to invite Kitchen Square from Housework Foundation, UC, Kit and Rule to come on stage and present their idea. Thank you. Okay, guys, you may start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Greeting, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kitchen Square. Amid this deadly pandemic, we have seen two obvious problems. The first, for the restaurant owners. There are less people going out to eat, so the restaurants are left with empty chairs and tables. Even if it's the case, but the restaurant owners still have to pay the same high operational cost. At one point, they could not survive, leave them no choice but to shut down their restaurant. It's even worse for the young graduated chef to open or launch their own restaurant because their lack of lean model to do market experiments and to test a new recipe at a lower cost. Our team see this problem as an opportunity to revolutionize food industry in Cambodia by introducing Kitchen Square, Cambodia's first standard co-cooking space, enable restaurants and food enthusiasts to test their recipe and to expand virtual brands with a minimal cost. So how does Kitchen Square work? For our first assumption, we need to build our delivery app by consolidating all delivery companies. So at first, restaurant owners come to rent our space, and then they list their menu on our app, and then when the end user make an order, it will notify to the chef at our app, and then when the food is ready, it will be delivered to the right driver, and then the food is delivered to the end user who will completely pay for the food and delivery service provided. Delivery service will issue the payment to Kitchen Square, and we also charge a commission fee per order from delivery company as well. And for the first assumption, we successfully come up with our first mock-up app. So for the first assumption, we come up with the business model. Our value proposition, we believe that the lean model will help our tenant to minimize the upfront and operational cost, and also enable them to experience new recipe and brands, as well as that to ensure them to safety standard and facility, and leverage data analytics to optimize that sale. The way that we are going to leverage to generate our revenue is through a monthly rental fee and commission per order from delivery company. So in order to test our assumption, we went out and interviewed one of our key partners. We met Mr. T. Kier, CEO of Block Delivery Company. We got a lot of good advice from him, and he said this idea is very innovative, but it's better to leverage with existing platform and also to reduce our setup costs, since this idea is still new in Cambodia. At this moment, we realize that to build consolidated app is too early at this stage, but we definitely will make a comeback to this since when we are established and well known in the market. So what next if we don't have the app? First, we could not leverage data analytics, so we removed that from our value proposition. And as the revenue stream, we no longer charge a commission fee from a food delivery company, but then we leave it just for a rental fee. But here, we need to be very creative at the revenue model. So instead of charging a high fixed rental fee, we would lower that rental fee, but charge a commission fee from them instead, so that the brand new owners will be convinced to grow with us. So this brings us to the operational flow 2.0, with everything remain the same except we remove the app, and a commission fee will be charged from our tenant instead.
So after our validation, we believe that our value proposition, as well as our revenue stream, still need to be further tested, especially with the customer. And that brings us to our customer segment. So we have identified two groups of potential customers who, the first groups are aspiring food entrepreneur, who are fresh graduated chef, food enthusiasts, and who are passionate to open up a restaurant and also experiment a new recipe, plus they have less capital or resources. For the second group, we are targeting the restaurant owner or brand owner who already own a restaurant, which could be a franchise, a casual dining, fast food, drink, or coffee. And specifically those who are financially struggling during this pandemic and looking to expand their sale online. So we went out of the building to validate our customer segment, starting with aspiring food entrepreneur. We had an amazing and fruitful conversation with the founder and COO of Academy of Culinary Arts Cambodia. And both of them are wow and impressed with our idea, saying that this is the leanest model that could help their students to practice their cooking skill and test out their new recipe at a lower cost. And they're willing to promote our kitchen square to a student. So now we nail our first customer segment. For another group, we decided to conduct online survey with 15 restaurant owners and also 6 key informants. And believe it or not, 85% of them says that they wanted to expand their sale online, but it's too expensive and too risky, while 60% of them say that the safety standard facility is a crucial factor, but it's unaffordable and unachievable for restaurants at their scale. While without hesitation, 70% of them are totally on board with us. This proves that our business, our value proposition are right on spot. And also for franchisee, we talked with Ms. Rainek, who is the GM of Potato Corner. She's raised a concern saying that as a franchise, we have secret ingredients, secret recipe, and also cooking technique that cannot be disclosed to the public. So it will be risky to bring that into a co-cooking space. And on top of that, our mentor, Ms. Rosanek, she's explained that she's advised us that franchise are more into geographic expansion, meaning they pay per location to open up a restaurant. So, which make a lot of sense. So we decided to make our second major pivot by removing the franchise from our customer segment, and now it is validated and so as our value proposition. In order to build Kitchen Square, we've identified three main resources. The first one is space and building. The second one are kitchen equipment. And the last one, of course, we need money. And to know how much each key resources cost, we turn to cost structure. And for space, we check with the factory Phnom Penh. And thanks to Mr. Van Nett, who is the operation officer, he's kind enough to walk us through the building. And as you can see, this space is around 12 by 12 square meter, which we can accommodate around 12 restaurants, and it would cost $15 per square meter per month. And for building infrastructure, we talked to LP Gas, and as discussed with the sales team, it would cost us $2,000 to complete the whole system. So to put everything in perspective, it would cost us $71K to complete the whole setup, and also $4.4K per month for us. And we're thinking of bringing in 12 restaurants, so it would cost $365 per brand or per restaurant. And also coming back to our revenue model, one of the key suggestions that we got from our brand owners to keep the rental fee as low as possible. So we took their suggestion into consideration by charging 20% profit margin, which is equal to $450. So 20% profit margin seems a bit low, but we will piggyback on their success by charging 10% commission from the restaurant owner in themselves. So now we nail our cost structure as well as our revenue stream. For our channel, we will go for social media and also culinary school for an offline setting. And to retain our customer, we will provide a on-spot customer support and also hosting an annual food festival, in which we can leverage that to manage their brand image even better, and also build a food community inside that kitchen square itself. Plus, we will provide a facility training, which include fire drill, as well as equipment usage, etc. And for tenants who pay 3 months upfront, will get a discount, a special discount from us. And for key activity, we decided to, there are some tasks that needed to be done, such as get a permit, find a tenant, find a kitchen supplier, establish partnership with the existing food delivery company, and also doing some marketing along the way. And for our key partner, over the last 2 months, we've been able to lock down 15 potential customers, 1 food delivery company, 1 space renter, 1 design and build company, and 1 culinary school. So as you can see, it's been quite a journey, and we are so excited to move forward with this great business model. So ladies and gentlemen, Kitchen Square, all you have to care about is cook. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. I think one question I had was around the sharing of the equipment. Does it mean that there's one central equipment that all the tenants share, or each tenant would have their own equipment? And how would you manage the scheduling of the sharing, for example?
Okay, thank you for the question. So regarding the share equipment, there are some certain equipment that we can be shared, but there are some like basic equipment that we can use by their own. So we're thinking of bringing 12 restaurants. So if you check in the space design, we're thinking of doing something similar to this, which means a single row kitchen. So if it's a 12 kitchen, it will be a 12 single row kitchen like this. So for some basic equipment, it will be provided inside the single row kitchen itself. But for some specific, like anything that, some equipment that can be shared, we will be using together there.
And what about the cooking recipe that you raised in your presentation? Also, they might, some other people might see some other people recipe, because the recipe of the restaurant is very important. So if they steal from each other, so how can you deal with this problem?
Okay, thank you for the question. So for the recipe, inside our kitchen square, we're thinking of bringing different cuisine, different kinds of food within each kitchen, so that people can have multiple tastes of the food. So they don't care about too much about the recipe of each other. So that's what we're thinking. And we also eliminate the franchise, which is, you buy the license, and also you obtain the ingredient, the recipe. And that's the reason why we cannot take them in, because of that reason. And then we're thinking that it should be something that is different, like different cuisine. So that's answer your question.
So your customers are the chefs, right? Not the people eating the food, not the buyers of the food, right? So you're concerned about the chefs, charging them rent, that's part of your revenue, and then taking a percentage of their sales. So what did you tell them about how you market this to the general public? Because you said you would no longer do the app, right? You were convinced not to do the app by that particular person, and you'll use existing platforms. So is the idea that you will be on, I don't know, I mean, how will you market this? So how will I know that Kitchen Square exists and that you've got this particular dish and it costs that much? How do I know that? Is that on a website or is that on...
Correct. Okay, so first of all, to promote our Kitchen Square, to let people know that we exist. So first, we will do the marketing strategy, which we will have our own Facebook page to let people know about us. But we know that we're new, so we cannot leverage our new Facebook page alone. But instead, we're using the partner, such as delivery company, Food Panda, Block, or some other, add some other partner to promote for us. Because we, as a Kitchen Square, will be their customer, so that's their job to promote for us as well. And also regarding the website, we also have that in our future plan, strategic plan. So we will do that in the first year itself, and will be launched in the second year. So as you can see, for year one, we have a website development. So in year two, we will launch the website at the end of, or at the beginning of year two. It's also another way of promoting. Just Ministry of Economic and Finance. And we have to go through several ministry to do the setup registration. The first one, we will go through Ministry of E-Commerce, which indicate in the user guide itself, saying that it would cost us $300. And then we will go to General Department of Taxation, which will cost us $250. And that we will pay per year as well. And also, next we will go to Ministry of Labor and Vocational Training, and it would cost us $30 to fill in the form and also apply for that. And also, last but not least, as a restaurant, we will go through the register at Ministry of Tourism as well, which it did not indicate in the user guide itself.
Actually, I want to ask a question related to that. So the 12 chefs that you become your customers, are they their own separate businesses? For example, you're going to promote their business on Food Panda, for example, Kitchen Square. People are going to buy additional Kitchen Square. What happens if somebody gets sick? Are you responsible or is the chef responsible?
Correct. Thank you for that question. So in that term, we have a contract. So we act as like a renter, right? So of course we will have a contract. So in that contract itself, it will indicate that same problem, it will be responsible by the space renter individual restaurant. Because we're responsible only for the equipment renting only.
Do you require them to have a license? A restaurant license or a license to prove that they're fit to be, pass muster with the Ministry of Health or whatever? Do you require them to be registered?
I see. So in that case, the restaurant owner, each individual restaurant owner that will come to rent our space will have to register by themselves first. If they have a restaurant already, for example.
So you've thought about these issues, though, being the point, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
So along that line, right? So if you register, say, on Block as Kitchen Square, and you have all of the foods of the 12 chefs, so if I'm the customer and I get on there to Kitchen Square and I order this food, say a hamburger, for example, but that particular chef hasn't been cooking a hamburger all day, how do I ensure that I'll get the food on time, and that you're looking at if I order at 9 p.m. at night, right? Like, how do you ensure that somebody's going to come to your kitchen and cook that food for me?
Thank you for that question. So I think for that problem, like for a restaurant itself, for some restaurant, they also have an open time and also close time, right? So based on that, we will provide those information to the like our partner, like Foodpanda or Block Delivery, so they know that when to visible our restaurant and when not to, similar to that.
So per restaurant, what if I'm a chef of Kitchen 1 and I only want to do breakfast, and then a chef is only doing like lunch to dinner? Like, how you will be able to look at how to, I guess, make that visible and not visible?
Correct.
That's a really interesting part to consider, that we as a team would really take this to our consideration. But just like my team mentioned earlier, I think we will take it to the negotiation with the delivery company as well as our customer to see whether it works or not to open from a specific time for their services. Yes.
Hello. I've seen that you prepared some strategic planning, and at the same time you did some interviews. Did you come up with a question as well, or strategy in the future of servicing on catering basis in a bigger occasion, not only an individual customer? Did you come up to that idea?
Can you clarify the question?
It seems that it's on per order basis, yeah, for your customers to deliver food. Let's say hamburger, please bring it to my house. Have you come up with the idea as well of, let's say, I have a birthday party, I want you to deliver on a bigger, I have 500 or 100.
Yes.
Did you come up with that?
Thank you so much for the question.
I'll answer you directly after.
Yes.
No, it's okay,
Sorry
guys.
for that.
Thank you.
You guys could just answer that one question very quickly, okay?
Okay. So for that, it's depend on the food delivery as well, right? Correct. So, but the special thing about hosting like a party and also order from us, they need something like it's feel like we're not ready for that kind of thing yet. So, but we'll take that into consideration, and we'll let you know after that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kitchen Square, for your wonderful presentation. Next, I would like to invite the Wheel from ChemEd, IFS, and STEP Academy to come on stage and present their idea. Thank you.
Hello.
Team, are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, you may start your presentation.
Smarter, better, faster. This is our world. A world of innovation, a world of moving forward. We're so caught up with straight new creations that we often overlook the problems right in front of us. And then, they're part of it. Did you know that from the 1970s, the number of cyclo, our tangible heritage, have dropped from thousands to just 300s. This is a sad truth. They are being forgotten, and yet no one is talking about it. But that is why we're here, to make sure that Circle lives again. But how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, we are planning to make it into a ride-hailing service. But it's not going to be that easy because Circle is really slow. And if we compare the speed to the rickshaw is a lot faster. I'm sorry, this...
Can you guys just do it manually? Yeah.
If we compare the speed to the rickshaw, it's way slower. And as for the pricing, it's very similar. So if we compare both vehicles, people would probably choose the rickshaw over Ciclo. And another problem is that people feel guilty when they're at a Ciclo. And from Miss Melanie, she has said that when she first ride a Ciclo with her friend, she felt really pity. And so instead of letting the driver drive her instead, she let her friend did it. And we were really, we thought we were the only one thinking that way, but we weren't. And so how do we fix all these problems? We will turn Ciclo into a battery-powered vehicle. So e-Ciclo will do two things. First, the driver will help. The driver can use less energy when they drive the passenger. And second, the driver can limit their speed. So how are we going to make it possible? We have contacted Mr. Ha, who is the founder of Tinky Bike, and he was the first runner-up of Smart Spark 2019, and he will be our engineer. And as for the office and workshop, we have contacted Mr. Jantar, and he has offered us a free workspace so that we can work on the prototype. And he is the director of Niptic Innovation Center. Not just that, we also have contacted Mr. Halta, who is the host of the most successful Ciclo events in the country yet. And what we know from him is that he's been working on a concept of Grab Ciclo, which is similar to ours. But what we figured out is that Grab Ciclo is unlikely to work. Why? Because it takes a lot of time and effort. But even if that discourages a little, we also found out that during the interview, he mentioned a lot about how successful his events were. And within just 2 weeks, he gained participants of over 1,500 people using only his mini tour service that he had created in Phnom Penh. And that is why we shift our focus to tour in Phnom Penh instead. We quickly shift our old business canvas and we went to straight directly into the hotels and to agency to propose our idea. Well, they like it, but the thing is that they rejected us because due to this pandemic crisis, there's not much people coming around in town. Well, it made us stuck a little, but instead we don't just stop there and we kept going. So we went to Impact Up again to meet Ms. Gozama Kim, who is a business developer there. And we got a really great advice from her, which is to shift our focus to Siem Reap instead. And if you think about it, Siem Reap has much better infrastructure. The pavement, the roads, the sightseeing, the aesthetics is a lot better. And that is when we decided to change our mapping into Siem Reap. So we quickly execute our plan and we contact the hotels and traveling agency that we know. And surprisingly, all of them really liked our idea. And they also told us to contact them back when we have our products ready. And this is what our products will look like on the page of Ansintra. We didn't stop right there. We also went to the Ministry of Tourism to seek for more guidance. So we met Dr. Chak Chim No, who is a spokesperson on the Ministry of Tourism. And we also met Mr. Makarachon, who is Director of Travel Agency and Tourism Guide Department at the Ministry of Tourism. What we got from them is more than just guidance. We got networks. We got networks from the CCCA, who will be providing us free Ciclo so that we can build our prototype and make our business run really well. We also got a direct contact to Mr. Seng Thira, who is the Director of Culture and Tourism of Apsara Authority. So when we met him directly in Siem Reap, we've got map guidance from him, and he also gave us permission to have stop stations at all of the 4 Siem Reap museums that he handled. And not just that, when we went to Siem Reap, we also went to meet all of the hotels that we have contacted before, so that we can get more confirmations and more guidance. We went to Lukdi and we went to Landing Gold Villa. Surprisingly, when we observed the mapping and the infrastructure in Siem Reap, we also found out that there were hotels under the name of Ciclo. And surprisingly, all of the Ciclo hotels were under the same management of Mr. Sakara. We went directly to meet him, we talked to him, we proposed the idea, and we got the same feedback. Very positive. He's looking forward to work with us. Not just that, we even met Miss Ieng Suking, who is the director of Nature Hotel Resorts. What we got from her is that she allows us to have free advertisement and also free space for cyclo station. And for the Nature Hotel Resort, it's located in the center of all the fun activities in Siem Reap. So her place is located near quad bike, near shooting arrows, and near riding horses. And if we implement our plan at her place as well, I believe people can easily reach out to us and figure out about our service. Well, since His Excellency Dr. Thong Khun is having a same motive as us, which is to be prepared well to enhance the tourism sector during and after COVID-19, we believe that our business is very likely to work. Now we have come to our final business canvas, and first off, we will be talking about our customer segmentation. Customer segment will be targeting international tourists and national tourists. Value propositions, we have three: cultural preservation, authentic experience, and employment market. So who are we going to employ? We are going to employ the elders, the illiterates, the retired individuals. We are not just preserving our culture, we're not just giving our customer an authentic experience, but we're also helping a part in the human resources of the country as well. Customer relationship, we have four: customer service, promotional offer, feedback, rating and review, and social media. Key resources, we have two. For human resources, it will be in the engineering, the technical supports and drivers. Installation, we have the motor, the battery, and controller. Last but not least, the cyclo that will be provided for free by the CCCA with the connection of the Ministry of Tourism. Key activities, we have three: product research and development, managed networking with the stakeholders, and stakes and marketing. These will be our key partners who will be helping us with making the prototype and the process of our business. Channels, we have two. Partner channels, we have the hotels that we contacted, and also Insindra, which is a traveling agency. Commercial channels will be focusing on the social medias and our head office in Siem Reap. This is our Facebook page. Cost structure will be on the material and labor, research and development, and administration. For our expenditure, we'll be focusing on three most expense, which will be the machine cost, driver salary, and office rental. And as for the office, although we have just one office in Siem Reap, we are also talking with our key partner to place our cyclo stations at their places as well. So that means we have one main office and many cyclo stations. Market size, we will be only focusing just 1% of this whole chunk of number. And we are choosing the number of tourists in Siem Reap from the 2018 and 2019 to calculate. Revenue streams is our tour service in Siem Reap, and the price will be divided into two. International tourists, we're charging 15, and national tourists, we're charging 10. Financial projections. So in 1 year, we are dividing into 3 stages, and each stage consists of 4 months. So in year 1, stage 3, that will be our break even. And from that time on, we'll be gaining profit. So before we head into our future scalability, we have been working on making our service having more better experience. And so we have talked with Mr. Kim Hood, who's the guide agent there. And we are planning to make an audio guide collaborating with a local guide. So for more, we're also planning to add more routes, and we're also planning to expand our business to Phnom Penh and Battambang as well. And to make sure our expansion of business goes well, we are going to cooperate with the CCA for cyclo development to increase its number. And to make sure that the driver feels safe and secure, we are also planning to implement insurance of Manulife and AIA to our tour package. Last but not least, we might even implement tuk-tuk into a battery-powered as well. Well, we hope that the will bring prosperity into culture preservation. So one of our right means one hope to our culture. We have got everything in hand already, all the supports we need to make the will possible, the help from Phnom Penh and the help in Siem Reap as well. And we hope that not just all the judges, but the people in this room can be part of the reason that this culture stays alive. This is our team. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I have one question. I'm curious. You start talking about your presentation about the cyclo in Phnom Penh, I guess. Now during your evaluation and everything, you move to Siem Reap. So are you moving the people in Phnom Penh or cyclo in Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, or you start working with a cyclo in Siem Reap?
I don't get the last sentence. May you please repeat it again?
Okay, so when you change the location of the services, I guess from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap,
Yes.
did you change the people you are working together, or you moved the driver of the cyclo from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap?
Oh, thank you, sir, for the question. Well, we thought about that too, but we find it inconvenient to move the drivers to the province, and so we are going to hire the people at Siem Reap instead. So the only thing that we move from Phnom Penh is the installations of the devices that we're going to use and the cyclo that will be provided by the CCCA.
My question is that now people, change their mindset, change their routine to ride a bicycle without the machine. And now you try to equip the machine into cyclo. So this is a trend which is different from the people now their perspective. So if the people ask you, how do you care about the environmental? Equip the machine to the cyclo is not environmental friendly. So if people ask you how you care about the environment.
Thank you, Mrs. So for the device that we're going to install, it's battery powered, so it's not going to use fuel, and it'll be environmentally friendly. And another thing is that we are trying to not renovate too much on the cyclo because it's part of our heritage. But what we're trying to do is that equipping the device on a cyclo so that the driver can drive it more conveniently, so they will use less energy. And as I've mentioned above, the people feel guilty because they were like, well, if they drive on a cyclo and we're the youngster and we let the elder drive us, they will feel guilty and they wouldn't really enjoy the ride. And so we implementing the battery onto the cyclo to make sure that people feel less guilty and also to make it more convenient for the driver. So that means that the driver, when they use this, it's not like they're controlling and they're running. They're still using the paddle, but they will use less energy when they paddle the passenger.
And what about the age of the rider, the one who control this cyclo, the age, in which range?
No. So when we go out and do a survey, we directly meet with the cyclo drivers, and most of them their ages range about 40 years up until even 80. And so when we're planning on implementing the tour service in Siem Reap, we are also going to give them training as well. And we're planning to train the local driver in Phnom Penh first because they are more experienced of the cyclo. And then when we implement our plan in Siem Reap, we're going to tell the driver in Phnom Penh to help train the driver in Siem Reap. That way it will be more convenient.
It's good that you have the plan to maintain the cyclo. However, have you checked? Can you hear me?
Not really.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good now. Have you asked him about how much he earned, and if he apply or if he register in the wheel, how much he could earn?
For that point, we're going to help them make their living easier by giving them salary. So for a month, we will give them $200. And we also went to ask more about his living condition, and most of them can barely make a living because of this pandemic. Sometimes they earn nothing, sometimes they earn 5,000, sometimes they earn at most only 30,000 real in a day.
I understand the need to preserve the heritage, and at the forefront one is cyclo. But have you considered a comparison on the advantages and disadvantages of how about tuk-tuk, which is also part of the heritage of Cambodia? If you're promoting for tourism purposes, have not seen a risk and evaluation or comparison of the two. Why cyclos and not cyclos and tuk-tuk? Or both, or either one of them? Understand?
So we thought of doing both at the same time, but it will be a lot harder because we say that at least in Siem Reap, there's still market for tuk-tuk running, but the cyclo is really running out, and we don't really see cyclo out there on the streets, and so that's why we focus on cyclo more. And
we also wanna in the future scalability. We also mentioned about the e-tuk-tuk, which means that we also, after we finish our cyclo successfully, and then we expand to do the same concept as the tuk-tuk as well. That's called e-tuk-tuk in this our future scalability. Yes. Thank you.
Just on that point, when you went back initially at the beginning of your presentation, you identified the problem, right? I think as was mentioned by my fellow judge, your problem was that the cyclo now is down to 300, and the kind of, what you were sort of telling us was you were feared that would disappear eventually. So the cyclo, part of Cambodia's heritage, would disappear. So this is a way to stop that happening, right? So if you parlay that into the e-tuk-tuk, is that the e-tuk-tuk concept then is just for environmental reasons, right? You want to, right now they're petrol driven, and is that your reason for going into e-tuk-tuks later? Because your reason for doing the cyclo was to try and stop this disappearing, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
you identified that, they're too slow. I mean, tourists actually use them because they're slow, by the way. I don't think the fact that a tuk-tuk is, cyclo is slow is not a problem. I think people that use cyclos like that fact, that they're slow. But your e-tuk-tuk then, so why would you go into e-tuk-tuks?
Well, in Siem Reap, we see a lot of Khmer traditional tuk-tuk, and we feel like it gives the location, the authenticity of our country. And this used to be like this too in Phnom Penh streets, but now all we see in Phnom Penh streets is just rickshaw. And so we want to save the authenticity of our country by implementing an battery onto the traditional tuk-tuk as well, so that it will be more convenient.
In follow-up to that e-tuk-tuk, because right now, Cambodia and other countries are gearing forward for electronic vehicle, electronically charged car, and now you're talking about as part of your escalation on electronic tuk-tuk. Am I right? Is it correct? When you say e-tuk-tuk?
Yes.
My last question is that this is not part of the question, it's kind of recommendation. If you want to run this business in Siem Reap right now, I don't think that is the right circumstances, because tourism sector are highly impacted by COVID. So because this one is part of tourism, right? So if you want to make sure that tourists in Siem Reap grow rich again, and then you can just start your business there.
Thank you, Miss.
so much, De Will, for your wonderful presentation, guys. Next, I would like to invite Liger Leadership Academy to come on stage and present their idea. Please welcome Pro. Thank you. Hi guys, you may start your presentation. Thank you.
To all the students, companies, and businesses out there, welcome to PDO.
Do is a Khmer word meaning exchange in English. It also is a platform where you can exchange for products and experience. Fun and innovative, it is our journey with Do.
High school students are trying to earn extra money for either their own need and want. College students are trying and seeking for opportunities to gain experiences and skill just to build up their resume. Companies are trying to find a cheaper way to hire a part-time employee for either their own need and want, and to also for the certain amount of job being done. And with all of these problems listed down, this is why we came up with the idea of PDO. PDO is an online platform where we aim to help other businesses and companies in hiring students for either part-time or short-term, including freelance work. The company and businesses can have the choice to either pay the employee in money or product compensation.
Here is our initial business canvas.
You're all probably aware that the cost of making a product is usually lower than the selling price. For that, we have came up with the idea of products compensation and made our first assumption stating that companies are willing to pay their employees with their store credits or products, which is a cheaper way for companies to hire. To validate the idea, we have reached out to companies that are popular among the youth and have interviewed League of Legends and Tube Cafe. But then we realized it was not enough and needed to broaden our scope and open to other types of businesses, like a furniture store or a clinic. At the end, we have reached out to over 30 companies and 20 of them replied. And this is what we found. 71% of all the companies are willing to hire employees through our system. And we have bifurcated those 71% companies into 3 different categories. 1, 58% of the companies are willing to pay exclusively in products, while only 25% are willing to provide a new skill or experience. After the interview with the companies, we also got lots of information and feedback, one of which, League of Legends' way of payment fit just right into our system because they pay their online short-term workers with their in-game currency. After the whole validation process, we have decided to add vocational students whom we haven't considered before into our target users because we find out that companies and businesses are willing to hire them.
With the second assumption, we thought that high school and college students are open to the idea of getting paid in product. And yes, to test out this idea, we have reached out to 161 students, and these are the response that we got back from them. With the assumption being made, we can see that over 81% of the students are open to the idea, which is a really good sign for our business idea to work. We have also asked the student if they only want to work for either skill or experiences. And yes, over 67% of the students are open to this idea. With skill or experiences as a compensation, let's take an example to make this idea a little bit clearer. Okay, let's say that I'm working for Tube Cafe and I'm designing a new graphic for their menu. So during the process of working with Tube Cafe, I will have a chance in observing about their business management or customer services, which is the skill that I'm getting back during the time period of working with Tube Cafe. So after the validation with the student, we have proved so many points on our business model canvas. And looking at it, seems like we are on the right track. As the idea of product compensation is newly introduced, the employee will be paid with an online voucher that is transferable and can later be used to redeem for the price of the voucher or exchange with another voucher with another person.
To make things more fun and creative, we have came up with the Exchange Hub, which is a marketplace for employees to exchange their compensation for other compensation. And yes, we have validated the idea with the students and found out that 98% of the students are willing to use the system, while all the companies are willing to cooperate with us in order to make the system work.
This is our final business canvas. As you can see, our customer segment are company, colleagues, high school, and vocational students, as well as people who want to shift into working for experience. For the value proposition, the company will be able to hire employee with a cheaper cost, while the employee can work to gain new skills or experiences. After assessing the whole data from the validation, we decided to expand our job type by adding part-time job to the list. And our first business idea was focusing on the exchange hub. But after the validation, we realized that what important to the employee is the experience that they get from working, which can later be used for their future. And for vocational students, they can slowly build the foundation for their future. And for the company, it is a cheaper way for them to hire employees. We have made two changes in our revenue stream. First of all, we thought about charging the fee from the exchange hub, but then we realized that it's difficult to do so, since it is a product compensation. And then we switched to charge the money from the company each time they pay the employee in cash. And throughout our discussion, we have decided to eliminate this idea because we cannot keep track of the company payment. With all of the process, it remains us with two of the revenue stream. First of all, we believe that our app will be famous among teenagers and young adults. So we would like to offer ads for companies who have similar or the same target audience as us. Secondly, sponsor one ad is when company want their post to be promoted for a certain amount of time, which can make the process faster in our app. What differs us from our competitor is that our target audience for the employee can have zero experience and slowly build up their knowledge throughout the period of working. And this has been validated with our target company. And also, we have the product compensation, which is, again, a cheaper way for the company to hire. And the exchanging hub, which make the idea more interactive.
With our future plan as a team, we thought that we are going to make this platform into an application to make it more accessible for mobile users. And we have also discussed that we are going to reach out to overseas businesses to make our supplies more and more.
We believe that this is a fun and innovative way to encourage internship and temporary employment for people by making it cheaper. Thank you.
Hello. My first question is, through your survey, why the student or the freelancer, they don't want the compensate in cash rather than in voucher?
Okay, so to answer your question, as you know that most of the product are made for a cheaper price than it's sold. So with the voucher and product compensation, the company can hire the employee for a cheaper price than before.
To add on, what the students value more is the experience they get from working. Therefore, they are willing to accept the product's compensation.
Just one question. In your very first slide, you spoke about university students wanting work for the experience to put on their CV. You spoke about high school students wanting work to get money to pay for things, right? So now you're saying the high school students are now willing to work for the vouchers, and then I suppose they sell those for the money, for example. Okay, being a lawyer, I have to ask this question. Is it legal? I mean, have you looked into that aspect? Because if I employ somebody, I have to have an employment contract. I have to register that with the Ministry of Labour, and I have to say what the salary is. And I don't think I can say, 14, cappuccino vouchers, as is the weekly salary. Have you looked into that aspect?
Okay, so we have research on that, and according to International Labour Organization, the minimum, not maximum, sorry, the minimum employment age in Cambodia is 15 years old. Thank you.
My question is it legal for Tube Cafe to pay their staff in vouchers? Because if Tube Cafe employs somebody, they have to register that employee with the Ministry of Labour. In the Ministry of Labour, they have to submit the employment contract. In that employment contract, it has to say what the salary is. And I don't think they can say the salary is, 15 flat white coffees vouchers. So I just want to know if you've looked, because what I'm saying is look into that issue. I don't know if it's your issue because you're just the app, but it may be Tube Coffee's issue. But you just sort of need to look into that, though.
Yes, thank you. We'll consider that.
So I have a question. Does the compensation go to you before it goes to the high school student or intern, or does it go directly to them? And how does the app come into play when in the transfer of compensation?
Okay, so the employees will be paid with a virtual voucher, and the compensation will be kept with the companies themselves. And after the employees decided to use the voucher, they can then go to the companies and exchange for the compensation. Does that answer your question?
So in that case, how do people then barter with the... Maybe I'm not really understanding the model. How do people exchange compensation if, for example, this is what is due to me?
So let's give an example to make things clear. For example, Smart transfers $30 phone credit into person A PDO account. Then person A can decide to exchange a certain amount or all of their phone credits for other compensation. He or she then go to the exchange hub and make an offer stating that I want to exchange, for example, $10 Smart credits for $10 of Koi store credits. And then for people who go to the exchange hub and see the offer, can choose to accept or make a counter offer.
through it seems like you targeted only the student college or in the high school, but it turns out that also some kind of the job, the job offer, they could not stay there for long. That's why they convinced to get a voucher. In terms of employer, they want the staff to work long. How will you convince them to register on your PDO platform?
So to answer that question, we are not having any full-time jobs on our platform. We only provide freelance and part-time jobs.
Who are your targeted companies?
So our targeted companies are someone who are popular among the youth, like Tube Cafe, League of Legends, or other types of businesses, like, can you go to the slide? Like other types of businesses, like a Hotel 3 Apple, or many more companies. And they said that they are willing to provide part-time jobs to the students.
Have you so I like the concept of exchange, but have you talked to these students and say, okay, you get the voucher for 2 free drinks versus $5. Which one do you want?
Okay, so to make the question clear again, so you're asking that if the company is giving me
If, for
two
example,
choice.
you work for me.
Okay, yeah.
All right. I say, here's a voucher to buy drinks from me for $2 for 2 drinks.
Okay.
Or I'm giving you $5. Which one would you pick?
$5.
Okay, so probably this is, for me personally, if my need is not money, I would pick the drink. Because of what? Sometimes it can be really limited to the places and also to the people.
Yeah, so along that line, when you're doing your survey, did you actually ask that? Because most students, I feel like they probably value money more than the voucher itself.
Okay. So between the two choice, we never ask the question that it's like the product compensation is too far away from the money that they are giving. I mean, even me, if they give $100 versus 20 drinks, I still pick $100 because the money and the price differencing is too far away from each other. And the recommendation, and we as a company, we don't handle any conflict resolution at all. So whenever the company offer any voucher or product compensation to the employee, they will have to have a contract and accept between the two parties. So.
To add to the point, for example, like for companies, some of their products, doesn't need any money to create it. For example, Smart, it almost free for them to create the phone credits for the users, which means that the products we have to make sure that the products and the salary are of the same value, or the products could be higher than the value, because we know that products are sold for a higher price than made. Therefore, for example, if I were to choose between $110 Smart Credit or $100, I would choose $110 Smart Credit. And yes, we didn't actually ask them to choose between the two. We only asked them, are they willing to exchange for the products?
Yeah, maybe this is to recognize your effort. We have to be positive as well. It might be innovative, it might be new, but we don't know. But there's still some homework to do. Yeah, in some of the areas that we ask, these are the gray areas that we have to look at. Go back to the canvas and check those notes. It might be a very innovative one. We don't know. You might be talking about a very sensible requirements in the future. But we have to go back and see where we can improve.
Yes, thank you.
One thing, one of the things we judge on, of course, is when you pivot, when you find out early in your research that you made a mistake and you pivot. Can you go to your canvas so I can see what it was that you got wrong initially and you pivoted to change? So what did you change?
The final business canvas. Go to So this is our final business canvas. So basically, we change our revenue stream, and we also add other target users into our target customer segments.
Thank you guys. That was a wonderful presentation. Now moving on to our last team for today's session, BMC session, I would like to invite Sportism from Batu High School to come and present their idea. Thank you. Should have fed you too much coffee. That was funny.
Sportisan team. My name is Jeta.
My name is Ratana.
And my name is Tida. We are high school students who just graduated.
3 years ago, I've realized I enjoy playing basketball, but looking for sport to practice has never been easy at all. The court located in my school that I request was banned from playing. The outdoor court in Olympic Stadium that I inquired was only open for national team players to practice or big tournament reservation. The moment I was so disappointed and wanted to give up. But fortunately, a basketball coach reached to me and asked me to join his team. Without that unexpected luck, I would have already given up their dreams. This is just about basketball. What about other type of sport? What would you do when you're looking for coach or sport venue to play? Today we're going to cover 4 main points. Because I believe that I'm not the only one who faced this problem. According to a survey response that we did both online and physical interview, we collect some information regarding to the problem that distract people from playing sport. As you can see in the bar chart, many people never get the opportunity to play sport because they don't know where to play or who to play with. We found a solution. We found a solution to this problem by creating a mobile application and provide a social media platform. It's convenient for everyone to seek for help or advice because our app helps connect all the sport lovers to the professional athletes and national sport players. And we have every kind of sport that you can easily find contact detail, sport venue, and places information. And we also provide a platform where business owners can advertise their business, such as sport venue and sport accessories. Now let's move on to our business model canvas. In value propositions, our vision is to support sports sector in Cambodia as we are prepared to host for SEA Games 2023. And Sportisan is the only sport-focused app, mobile application in Cambodia. We encourage national sport players, professional athletes, coaches to use our app to build their profile, personal brand, share colleagues, and being as a motivator to the new generation who want to engage in sport. In customer segment, we have active user, advertiser, and marketers. They pay this point related to our revenue stream. They pay to have their ads displayed in our platform. In channel, we have word of mouth, our mobile application, and our website. In customer relationship, our app is like a community where app user can share their sport activity, like comment and shares, and making connection with the national sport player. In revenue stream, as our app will be used for free, so our income generated from advertising. In key resource, we have app developer, active user, our app and websites, our strong teamwork, and national sport players. In key partner, we need to cooperate with business owners of sport venues and sport accessories to advertise their product in our platform. And we need National Olympic Committees of Cambodia to support us in provide the information related to news events that happen in Cambodia. And last but not least, MOE. In key activities, we need to engage more users and we have to promote our apps, and as well as provide the advertising platform, and we need to keep updating more opportunity for our app user. In cost structure, we need to hire app developer to build a fully functional app, and the cost of user data storage, and the cost of promoting our app.
Now let's take a look to Sportisan demo. For the first page is login page. After login, user can see the social media platform. As for the icon sport, when users click on it, they will only see the sport that part of sport that related to the sport, and user can post their activity with a picture and upload the video. For event and venue, user they can sponsor us and have their post on our application. For inbox page, people can chat and connect with each other. They also can receive notification about their post. For event will be displayed in here too. For sport venue, user can find their sport to play, and for the sport venue that participate with us will be displayed here. For advertising platform, sport product seller can promote their business to sell on our platform.
So for the profile page, professional athletes and national sport player will receive a verified account of blue tick.
And these are the activity of us getting out of the building. We met with Chun Sophara, national basketball player. We met with On Pacharanai, national taekwondo player. Piep Sophana, professional footballer at Bungate Club, and also a group of basketball players to ask them about their opinions on our application. And after that, we also met with professional trainer and manager at Phnom Climb, Bongso Saiha, and also sport product seller, and also a coach at Damian Tennis Table Club. They all had a good impressions and strongly support our business ideas as we have already shown them the app demo. And after we getting out of the building, we think that it a must to have a lot of active user and micro-marketing as an advertising strategies that allow sport business to advertise their business to a particular group of people. So to make use of this techniques, we have to narrowly define an audience with a particular characteristic such as their gender, age, geography, and their job title. And this is the second version of our business model canvas. In customer segment, we added micro-marketing. In key resource, we added customer data. And in key partner, we added technical partner, social influencer, professional trainer, and gyms. And also, we have to always seek for new key partners. And after we validated our second business model canvas, we try to seek for more new key partners such as Phnom Climb Community, CrossFit Amatak, Cool Sport Club, Ratana Sport Accessory, Giri Jiu-Jitsu Martial Art Facility, and also Mr. Broham Tim will support us on the technical partner. And this is the videos of us interviewing our key partners.
I think it's cool. I really like the app. You guys showed me the demo. I think it needs, you'll need a big base of people, a lot of people to take it up and use it for it to work really well. Or I think it has a lot of potential.
ចំណុចនេះអ្វីដែលចង់ឃើញចង់រៀបការឡើងឆាប់ព្រោះដោយសារវាជាកម្មវិធីមួយដែលល្អអាចថាប្រម៉ូទពី sport ឬក៏ការលក់ផលិតផលដែលទៅនឹង sport ឬក៏អ្វីគ្រប់យ៉ាងនៅក្នុង apps ហ្នឹងហើយវាជាកម្មវិធីមួយដែលល្អអាចនិយាយបានថាជួយផ្សព្វផ្សាយក៏បង្កើតនៅទំនាក់ទំនងរវាងអតិថិជនឬក៏អ្នកដែលគាត់ចង់លេងកីឡាដើម្បីមក sport ទីតាំងថ្មីៗប្លែកៗ
Sportsman, I think it's a great initiative, great idea. I hope you guys can pull it off, and it'll be a great way for athletes as well as coaches and gyms, maybe even federations, to share news, to share events together in the app. So even athletes from one sport, they could go, maybe they see on the app that's an event this weekend or a different sport, they could go and visit and connect with each other that way.
ហ្នឹងហើយខ្ញុំគិតថាបើ Sportisan មានការរីកចម្រើនទូលំទូលាយគេស្គាល់ច្រើនខ្ញុំនឹងចូលរួមដូចជាខ្ញុំចង់បង្កើតអាជីវកម្មអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំតាក់ទងទៅខាងមួយនេះ Sportisan ហ្នឹង Sportisan ហ្នឹងទៅដើម្បីផ្សព្វផ្សាយមិនថាតារាងបាល់មិនថាលក់កៅអៅលក់សម្ភារៈកីឡាអីផ្សេងៗហ្នឹងហើយហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹង
And this is the third version of our business canvas. We identified that in value proposition, professional trainer and coaches have more opportunity to find job because they will have a verified account, so people will easily contact them if they're interested to have a coach. And for key partner, we also added sport federations. Our future plans. In the future, we would like to provide a booking platform where users can book where they want to play sport, and also if they're interested to join any sport competition, events, or tournaments, they can book the ticket through our applications. And that's come to the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So your application is kind of like a news community for all kinds of sports, correct?
Yes.
So my question is, where do you get the news or the content from, and how often will you update this information?
We probably will cooperate with NOCC, National Olympic Committee of Cambodia, and MUI's Ministry of Youth and Sports.
The question is a bit similar to that. Part of your app was you would be not just sports venues, but also sport accessory equipment that's for sale. Like you had that picture of the running shoes, for example, where you can buy running shoes. So in terms of your revenue stream, you were talking about advertising on the site, etc., right? So would you include every known sports shop on your app, even if they're not paying you for advertising? Or are you just going to focus on those that are paying you for advertising and somehow highlight their products? So is your idea just to put everything that you know exists in Cambodia pertaining to sports? Or will you only focus on those that are sort of paying you for advertising, etc.?
For our revenue stream, we only generate from advertising, like event or sport venue, and also for sport equipment, they can sell on our platform, and we take commission also.
Where we saw those shoes, for example, you had the prices. That's an example of you selling them advertising on your site. And if a sale was made through your site, is that what would happen? So somebody can go onto your site and say, yes, I want those shoes, and somehow they will connect with the shop and you will get a commission from that sale. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So you have a sale, a provision, a function in your app that allows payment services or something, is that?
The advertising platform.
This is more Chandar's area than me, so I don't know. Does that work, Chandar? I mean, did they put something in their app where they're selling direct? Is that any issues with that? On the app itself, they've listed shoes for sale, for example, and if somebody buys it through the app.
Yeah, it should be fine. I guess one question I do have is you say you're going to have the national sport players on the app as well, right?
Yes.
When you are talking to them, would they agree to be on that? And what is the potential legal aspect of that? Meaning, would their team allow them to be on an app to be an official person, or do you have to pay them to get onto the app?
Mostly, we encourage them to use our app to build their personal brand.
It would be benefit for them as well, and they can use it for free. Like we don't have to pay them to use our apps, because they after like getting out of the building and we talked to them and they said that our app is like what they're looking for, and they want to use it to share their experience, because as a national sport player, like besides just training and play, they never get opportunity to have the young generation to engage in sport activity. So they can be advice. We can share experience to them through our app.
Yeah, I understand. I just want to clarify. Would they get in trouble from the national team to go? Would they need to get approval from the national team first to be on the app? Did you check on that with them to see if that is the case?
Yes, we will check. Like we will talk to the national federation also, the sport federation.
Yes, I have talked to the sports federation, who is my coach, that he asked me to join the teams. And he is under the federation, and he said that nothing wrong with just using a social media and helping others.
Okay, yep. So from your presentation, I can see there are two sides of the community that you're trying to build, right? First are those that you have interviewed, the coach, the the owner of the sport venue. So they are interested to be part of this because that they can promote their business and all that. But I haven't seen your survey or interview to the other side of the curve, the user, like someone like myself or any of us in this room who are not professionals, but we want to practice sport. Have you talked to any of us, and what is the learning? Are they interested to join this platform and be part of your community building?
Yes, we have talked to many people, like actually the people who face this problem, that they want to start a sport journey but don't know where to play or who to play with and something like that. And we want to film a video of that we're getting out of the buildings. Like we have a group of basketball players and they want to use our app as well. And the normal people that they want to play sport but never got the opportunity to play sport. And we have talked to them many, but like in surveys, physical and online, and they said they want to use our app.
And any new learnings from after talking to them, like anything to improve for them? Not for the coaches or the one who offers sport services, but from the user. Any learning that makes you change some of the blocks on your canvas?
We haven't showed them the demo, but we just like tell them briefly about our app, that you can chat, that you can find sport venue to play. So they just think and they just want to use it like directly and no improvement about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, before asking or giving comments, I just would like to say I'm really impressed because you guys from high school actually. You did a very good job, and you dare, join this kind of competition. Yeah, and congratulations, you are so far until the final competition until today.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
can you go back to revenue stream? Yeah.
Revenue stream.
Yeah, I think a lot of apps so far I have heard, they relies on advertisement kind of as a revenue. I'm not sure if you have any future plan. Looking through your future plan, it's a short period of time until adding booking feature. But any other revenue sources will you generate? Advertising alone, I am not sure about the future or long-term sustainability of your business.
We also generate from product sport seller, like when they sell their product, we will charge commission from them.
As well as booking platform that going to have in the future, and we also wanted to make it worldwide.
I think this business model is easy to replicate. So how can you identify your competitor if this app is going to be online or active, and your competitor identify that they can't do the same? So how can you do that?
They can't do the same, and also our main competitor now is Facebook, because Facebook is worldwide organized and people easily use it to share events and opportunities, and so they can use Facebook easier. But if they know that our app exists and provide more convenience, like we have like chat directly to the national athletes. So if you think that you use your Facebook and chat to national athletes or professionals as them, like how do you know? And how they know that you have come here for a sport? And how do you know that they are a national sport player?
One of my because of time constraint, one of my recommendation, if you haven't connect to the Google Map, I mean, you should connect to the Google Map, meaning that your customer can find the place of the shop or the place of the athlete. They can easily to see face to face.
Thank you, Dad.
You guys can answer that question quickly, so we can wrap up.
It's the recommendation.
Just comment. Just
Oh,
comment.
just comment? Okay. So thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, guys. That was wonderful. Woo. Now that our judges have listened to all of the student team presentation, we'll be taking a short break for our judges to deliberate for the result. And once our judges return, we will announce the top 5 students who will be invited to the awards dinner reception tonight at Hyatt Regency Phnom Penh to hear the final result. Thank you. Of our top 5 team who will be invited to the award dinner reception tonight. Professor Stephen, I give you the floor. Thank you.
Okay. So I think this has been an amazing day today. The feedback from all the judges was very positive for both the morning session and the afternoon session. I think this year it was very more competitive, I think, than previous years that we've done this. And, you know, as you can see, we had a lot of debate on our judging panel just now to come up with the top 5. So again, even if you are not called on this list, I think you should still feel very proud about your performance and, you know, and continue working on those ideas and making those changes. Because again, some of the ideas that we heard today were you know, very dynamic and interesting and also had potential. So these are the 5 teams that will advance to the awards dinner tonight at Hyatt Regency Hotel, which is located just near the National Museum. And I'm going to read these teams in no particular order. This is a random order. You will not know who is the gold, silver, and innovative, best innovative team until tonight. So I'm just going to announce 5 teams in no particular order, okay? So the first team I will mention that will be going forward is Kitchen Square. Then Bong Snacks. Find Me Doc. Da Wheels. And Mahasrop. So again, congratulations guys, and you will know the results later tonight, and we will also post on social media later tonight the final results in the order of the awards. And again, we were all very impressed by all of the teams that presented today. You know, so don't go away feeling that you didn't do well. It was very, very close, and we encourage you to keep on working and apply to more competitions. There are now so many competitions in Phnom Penh, so there's more opportunity. Later, in the next couple of days, if you want to reach out to us for some comments, I can also, we do have some of the results, and we can try to provide some feedbacks to some of the teams later next week if you want some feedback. So again, congratulations to the top 5, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Professor Stephen Patterson, for announcing the top 5 student team. Now that our program is coming to a close, we would like to thank all of the student team for your participation and amazing hard work in giving us such an outstanding presentation here at our Business Model Competition program. We would also like to thank our beloved judges for being here with us and giving such wonderful feedback to the student team. Lastly, we would like to congratulate to the top 5 team. Way to go, guys, for coming this far through the program. Reminder to the top 5 teams that you are invited to the awards dinner reception tonight at Hyatt Regency Phnom Penh at 6 p.m. to hear the final result on which team wins which awards. Thank you, everyone, and our Facebook Live audience for your participation in our program today. I hope you guys have a lovely evening. Stay safe. Thank you very much.